Good morning, students. This session is for class 12th, and we are studying torque on current loop magnetic dipole, and the topic is torque on rectangular current loop in uniform magnetic field. Students, in previous classes we have completed the topic the Ampere's circuital law, then applications of Ampere's circuital law. There was two applications. First one is magnetic field due to solenoid, and then magnetic field due to toroid, and after that we have completed the usage of toroid and solenoid. After that, in the last session we have completed the force between two current carrying infinite long parallel conductors, and then we were able to define ampere. Okay, in this session we are going to study torque on a rectangular current loop in uniform magnetic field. Okay, so students, we have studied about torque in class 11th in detail. That chapter was rotational motion. So what is torque? Torque is something which is responsible for the rotational motion and plays similar role as force play in case of straight line motion. So torque is responsible for the rotational, or you can say angular acceleration, whereas the force is responsible for linear acceleration. Okay, so I hope you have remember the definition of torque. That is, if we say mathematically, then torque is equal to magnitude of force and perpendicular distance between the point, or you can say the axis and the point at which force is acting. Okay, so let us start with this topic. In this topic there is a coil. You can see a coil placed in external magnetic field, and by magnetic torque it will rotate in this magnetic field. So let us understand these things by the text given in this paragraph. You can see on your screen. You can see here, we now show that a rectangular loop carrying a steady current I and placed in uniform magnetic field experiences a torque. It does not experience a net force. This behavior is analogous to that of electric dipole in uniform electric field. Okay, so this one is, the behavior is analogous of that electric dipole in uniform electric field. So we have already completed that a dipole can experience electric torque when it is placed in electric field. Similarly, a rectangular loop experiences magnetic torque when it is placed in external magnetic field. Okay, so it is, the electric dipole is compared here with the rectangular loop when it is placed in external magnetic field, but this one is the current carrying loop. Okay, so we first consider a simple case when the rectangular loop is placed such that the uniform magnetic field is in plane of the loop. This is illustrated in example 4.21a. Okay, so in this case we are assuming that the plane of this loop is in the same direction, or in same direction of the magnetic field. You can see here, we first consider the simple case when the rectangular loop is placed such that the uniform magnetic field be in the plane of the loop. So here we are considering that B and this plane of this loop are in same direction. Okay, this is illustrated in example 4.21a. This one is 4.21a. This is the diagram. You can see the this one is actually the direction of the magnetic field. Okay, and you can see this one, this arrow represent the direction of magnetic field, and the plane of this loop is in the same direction of the magnetic field. You can see in this picture, or you can see in this figure. Okay, now the field exert no force on the two arms AD and BC of the loop So this field B does not exert any force on this arm, that is AD, and this one is BC, because suppose current is flowing in this direction, so this is opposite to the field and this one is in same direction of the field. In both the cases the angles are either 0 degree or 180 degree, and the value of sine 0 or sine 180 is 0. Sine 0 is also 0, and sine 180 degree is also 0. So in both the cases angles are either 0 or 180 degree, and since force on any one of the arm is given by F is equal to, you know that F is equal to, this value is I into L into B. Let me erase these things actually. So you can write I, then L, then B, and sine theta. This is the formula for force. But you can see this angle of this BC or this AD is either 0 or 180 degree. So force on these two arms must be 0. Okay, so there is no force experienced by these two arms. So you can see the field exerts no force on the two arms AD and BC of the loop. It is perpendicular to the arm AB of the loop and exert a force F1 on it is directed into the plane of the loop, and its magnitude is given by this. So let us discuss about the arm AB. You can see this arm AB. This arm AB is perpendicular to the direction of magnetic field. You can see the direction of magnetic field is from north to south, and this one is perpendicular to this north and south. So direction of this field, this arm is 90 degree from this field. Okay, so in that case there is the force, that is F1 is equal to ILB. This is the force working on this arm, and according to left hand, Fleming's left hand rule, the direction of this force is, you can see here, into the plane of the loop. So this force is working into the plane of the loop. Okay, and its magnitude is F1 is equal to I B and capital B, where B is the magnitude of this length AB, it is considered as B. Okay, I is current flowing through this arm AB, and B is length of AB, and B is capital B is magnitude of the magnetic field. Direction is given here, it is perpendicular and into the plane of the loop. Similarly, you can discuss the force about force on this arm, that is CD. So since I is the current on this one, length is again equal to B, magnetic field, magnitude of magnetic field is also B. So similarly it exert a force F2 on the arm CD, but you can see the direction of current is from A to B here, and the direction of current is from C to D here. So the force is exactly opposite on these two arms. So in this case the force is directed out of the plane of paper. So here the force is outward the plane of paper, and here it is inward, but both are equal in magnitude and opposite in direction. So you can see the force F2 on the arm CD, and F2 is directed out of the plane of the paper, and its magnitude is equal to F1, that is I into B into capital B, where small b is length of the side CD. Okay, thus the net force on the loop is 0. There is a torque on the loop due to the pair of forces F1 and F2. So you can see here the net force is 0, but there is a torque because you can see here the two forces are equal in magnitude, opposite in direction, and their point of actions are different. They are not in the same line, so they must form a torque. It means they have nature of rotational effect. So you can see these two forces F1 and F2 in figure 4.2 1B behaves like this one of them is upward direction and second one is in downward direction. This one is the center, you can imagine axis passing through here. So these two forces you can see here. So the view of loop from AD ends. It shows that the torque on the loop tends to rotate it anti-clockwise. So this one has a nature to rotate this coil in anti-clockwise direction. So this torque in magnitude is given by, so you can find out the magnitude of this torque, and that is equal to tau F1 A by 2 plus F2 A by 2, because you know that if this one is rotational effect, then both are in the same direction. So the net torque will be the vector sum of these two. Okay, so first one is F1 and distance from the center, or you can say axis of rotation, is A by 2. Similarly for F2 it is A by 2. So torque tau is equal to F1 A by 2 plus F2 A by 2. Now we can put the values of F1 and F2. So you will get IB capital B into A by 2 plus IB capital B into A by 2. The final answer will be IAB into capital B. Now you can see this AB is, A is length of this part, that is AD, or you can say BC, and B is this side, that is AB or CD. So total product AB will give area of this rectangular loop. So you can write the total torque is equal to I into A into B, where A is area of the loop, B is magnitude of the magnetic field, and I is current flowing through the loop. So you can see here where A is equal to AB is area of the rectangle, or you can say rectangular loop. We next consider the case when the plane of the loop is not along the magnetic field but it makes an angle with it. We take the angle between the field and the normal to the coil, to be at angle theta. The previous case, this theta was pi by 2. Now in figure 4.22 illustrates this general case. So let's see. The force on arm BC and DA are equal and opposite and act along the axis of the coil, which connects the center of mass BC and DA. Being collinear along the axis, they cancel each other. Now the resulting in no net force or torque. The force on the arm AB and CD are F1 and F2, and they two are equal and opposite with magnitude, and the forces are F1 and F2 is equal to IB and to capital B, but they are not collinear. This result in a couple as before. The torque is however less than the earlier case when plane of loop was along the magnetic field. This is because the perpendicular distance between the force of the torque has decreased. In figure 4.22b you can see here this distance is quite different because we are taking the perpendicular distance here. So this one is different. Okay, so this one is A by 2 sine theta from both the forces. Okay, similarly from this one, this side becomes A by 2 sine theta. Similarly this one is A by 2 sine theta. So the net torque in this case is again given by the vector sum of these two product of force and displacement. Okay, so you can see here the torque, net torque is given by force F1 into perpendicular distance from the axis of rotation, that is A by 2 sine theta, and similarly F2 into A by 2 sine theta. But since we know that the magnitude of force F1 and F2 are equal, and that is IB into capital B. Okay, so after summing these two parts we will get IAB into B sine theta. Okay, now I hope you remember that this AB is equal to the area of the rectangular loop, since A is side of AD and second one is, that is B side AB. Okay, so this AB is equal to the area of the loop. So the final result is I into area of the loop into magnetic field into sine theta. Okay, as theta tends to 0, the perpendicular distance between the forces of the couple also approaches 0. This makes the forces collinear and the net force and torque will be 0. So for theta is 0, the torque will be 0. Okay, the torque in equation 4.26 and 4.27 can be expressed as vector product of the magnetic moment of the coil and the magnetic field. We define the magnetic moment of the current loop as, so m is equal to I into a, this is the magnetic moment of the current loop. You can find out the magnetic moment by this formula, that is m is equal to I into a. So this quantity I into a together considered as a vector quantity. Okay, and the magnetic field is also a vector, so we can represent this torque in form of vector, and you can see here the next equation in form of vector product. So where the direction of area vector A is given by the right hand thumb rule and is directed into the plane of the paper in figure 4.21, then as the angle between magnetic moment and magnetic field is theta, then equation 4.26 and 4.27 can be expressed by the equation tau is equal to m cross b, where torque is a vector quantity, and if m and b are lying in a xy plane, this j must be in z plane. So this is the result of this cross product. This means this vector is always perpendicular to the plane containing these two vectors. Okay, so this result is very similar to the result obtained in case of electric dipole moment. Okay, so let us compare this result with the result which we got in case of electrostatics. Okay, you can say in case of electric dipole moment. So this is analogous to the electrostatic case, electric dipole of dipole moment PE in an electric field. So you can see a torque is equal to, this one is the electric dipole moment vector and this one is vector B. So you can see the torque is equal to electric dipole moment cross electric vector. This is very close to the result obtained in magnetic field, and this one is found in electrostatics. Okay, so as from equation 4.28, it is clear that the dimension of the magnetic moment are AL square and its unit is ampere meter square. So unit of this magnetic moment is ampere meter square. Okay, and you can write the dimensional formula as AL square. Now from 4.29 we see that the torque tau vanishes when m is either parallel or anti-parallel to the magnetic field, as we have already considered or already discussed in case of electric dipole moment. Okay, so if this m and b are in same direction or they are opposite to each other, the torque will be 0, or you can say it is vanishes. Okay, this indicates a state of equilibrium as there is no torque on the coil. This also applies to any object with magnetic moment small m. When m and b are parallel, the equilibrium is stable one. So you can see here, for stable equilibrium these two means m and b must be parallel to each other. Any small rotation of the coil produces a torque which bring it back to its original position. When they are anti-parallel, the equilibrium is unstable, as any rotation produces a torque which increase with the amount of rotation. So you can see that if m and b are in same direction, in that case if we rotate the coil, it will return in its initial state, and the condition is known as the equilibrium state, stable equilibrium of the loop. Whereas when they are anti-parallel to each other, it means we are talking about m and b. If they are anti-parallel to each other and the small disturbance will increase the rotation, and this type of equilibrium is considered as unstable equilibrium. Okay. So the presence of this torque is also the reason why a small magnet or any magnetic dipole align itself with external magnetic field. So this is a very important reason for alignment of magnetic dipole in direction of external magnetic field. If the loop has n closely wound turns, then the expression for torque, that is given by equation 4.29, still holds with m is equal to nia. So for n number of turns, the magnetic moment of current carrying loop is given by n into ia. This n is number of turns in the loop. So I hope you understand the concept of the magnetic torque and how it is very analogous to the result obtained in case of electrostatics for electric dipole moment. Okay, so you must remember the most important point here, and that is known as magnetic moment. Okay, so magnetic moment of a loop is defined as, you can see here, the product of current and the magnitude of the area, and it is directed along the area direction of area vector. You can see here. So this magnetic moment is a vector quantity, and this is very important physical quantity, and it will help you to solve many difficult questions of this exercise of this chapter. Okay, so must remember the how you can find out the value of magnetic moment of the loop. Okay, by using this formula we will find out the magnetic moment of hydrogen atom. So it will help you in many cases. Now let's see this question. This is very important questions. Let us try to solve this question. 100 turns closely wound circular coil of radius 10 cm carries a current of 3.2 ampere. Then what is the field at the center of the coil? Second, what is the magnetic moment of this coil? The coil is placed in vertical plane and is free to rotate about the horizontal axis, which coincide with its diameter. A uniform magnetic field of 2 Tesla in the horizontal direction exists such that initially the axis of coil in the direction of the field. The coil rotates through an angle of 90 degree under the influence of magnetic field. Then C, what are the magnitude of the torques on the coil in initial and final position? And the last part of this question is, what is the angular speed acquired by the coil when it has rotated by 90 degree? The moment of inertia of the coil is 0.1 kg meter square. So students, to solve this question, first let us write the given quantities. So we have the number of turns, that is 100. Then this radius of this coil is 10 centimeter. Because this one is not in MKS system, you must have changed this unit into the MKS system, that is meter. So you can write 10 by 100 meter, that is 0.1 meter. Okay, now current, the value of current is 3.2 ampere. Then what is the field at the center of the coil? So we have to find out the field at center of the coil. For this we must remember the formula for the magnetic field at the center of current carrying loop. So you can see in solution number 1 the formula for magnetic field at the center of current carrying loop with n turns. So you can see here B is equal to mu naught Ni by 2R. This is the formula which is in case of current carrying loop. So here the given quantities are N is equal to 100, I is equal to 3.2 ampere, R is equal to 0.2 meter, and hence after putting these value in above equation, that is in this equation you can put these for these values. So you will get the value of mu naught is 4 pi into 10 to the power minus 7, the value of N is 100 and the I is 3.2, and it is divided by the radius, that is 0.1 meter. You can write like this, 10 to the power minus 1, and you can solve this calculation by yourself, and you will get 4 into 10 to the power minus 5 into 10 upon 2 into 10 to the power minus 1. The value of pi into 3.2 is found to be 10 approximately. Okay, so this one is taken as 10. It means the value of pi into 3.2 is taken as 10 here. So it is 4 into 10 to the power minus 5, because this is power plus 2 and this one is power minus 7. So these two together gives you 10 to the power minus 5, and pi into 3.2 gives you 10. So this one is again becomes 10 to the power minus 4, and then it is 1 power is cancelled by 10 to the power minus 1. So the final result will be 2 into 10 to the power minus 3 Tesla. Okay, so this one is the magnitude of magnetic field. Now we can find out the direction. So by direction is given by the right hand thumb rule. Okay, so in this case it is not mentioned that either the current is clockwise or anti-clockwise, so we cannot mention the direction exactly, but we can find out this direction by using right hand rule if the direction of current in the coil is given. Okay, so I hope you understand. Let us solve the part B. In part B, what is the magnetic moment of the coil? So we have to find out the magnetic moment of this coil. For this purpose, let us apply the formula for magnetic moment. So formula for magnetic moment of n turns coil is NIA, where n is number of turns, I is current in the loop, and A is area of that loop. So the values are already given in this question, and that are 100, and then current 3.2 ampere, and area pi into r square. R is radius, that is 10 centimeter. You can write 10 by 100 or 0.1 square. So you can get 100 into 3.2 into 3.14 into 10 to the power minus 2. Similarly, pi into 3.2 can be taken as 10, and you will get the result, that is 10 ampere meter square, as ampere meter square is the unit of the magnetic moment. Okay, so I hope you understand the question B, that is actually the part of question 4.11. Now the part C, let us understand about the direction. The direction is once again given by the right hand rule. Okay, so you can find out the direction by right hand rule, because direction is not mentioned in these questions, so we cannot apply that, but you can find out if it is given either clockwise or anti-clockwise. In third part, we have to find out the torque. So the formula for torque is equal to m cross b. We are actually talking here about the magnitude of the torque, we are not talking about the direction. So we can find out the magnitude, that is magnitude of m cross b, that will be mb sin theta, where n cap is taken as 1, as the magnitude of unit vector is 1. So as angle is theta is 0 initially, it is given in the question, and this initial torque will be 0. Finally theta is taken as 90, so the final torque will be m into b, that is 20 Newton meters. So you can see here, in this case the initial torque is 0, whereas the final torque is 20 Newton meter. Now from second law of thermodynamics, because in the last part you can see here what is the angular speed, we have to find out the omega, that is angular speed. So we can apply the Newton's second law for the rotational motion. So you can write I d omega by dt, this is actually the alpha. So this is actually the I alpha, since you know that tau is equal to I alpha. So this is actually the tau is equal to mb sin theta, then tau is replaced by I alpha, then alpha is replaced by d omega by dt. So this one is I d omega by dt is equal to mb sin theta, where I is the moment of inertia of the coil. It is given in this question, the value of moment of inertia is taken as or given 0.1 kg meter square. So the value of this I is given here. Now this d omega by dt can be given by mb sin theta upon I. Now you can write this equation like this, d omega by dt d theta into d theta by dt. So this part, that is d theta by dt, can be written as omega, and this one is d omega by d theta. Okay, now using this equation at the place of d omega by dt in this equation, means put the value of d omega by dt from equation number 2 to equation number 1, you get I omega d omega is equal to mb sin theta d theta. Now you can integrate this equation from 0 to 90 degree, or you can say pi by 2. So you can see from 0 to pi by 2, the value of omega varies from 0 to omega final. Okay, so after integration you will get omega square by 2, because the initial value is 0. This will be the I omega square final by 2, and the integration of this part is minus cos theta, so this is minus mb cos theta from 0 to pi by 2, and it will give you mb. So finally omega square is equal to, you can rearrange this question according to the requirement of omega. So omega is equal to 2 mb upon I, where I is the moment of inertia. Now you have values of all these things, so 2, then value of m into b is 20, and upon I this is 1. After calculation you will get 20 per second, or you can say radian per second, because the unit of omega is radian per second also. So this is the very important question. The D part is very interesting of this question. You should solve these type of questions. Try to revise the topics which we are continuously explaining in different videos, and try to solve at least 10 questions based on each topic. It will help you to complete or to understand the concept in more deep way. Thank you for watching.